Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Let's get it on the screen. This one is pretty crazy, right? Carl Robertson. Apparently arrested with marijuana, crack cocaine, and in a connection with a robbery. So Robertson was apparently taken into custody by Howell Police Department in connection to a December robbery. What is going on with Carl Robertson, right? So here it is. Carl Robertson was arrested during a motor vehicle stop in Neptune. He was driving a vehicle that investigation revealed had been connected to the burglary. Following his arrest, a search warrant was conducted on the vehicle. During the search, officers found a defaced 9mm handgun, which basically means like the serial numbers were sanded off or whatever.
Yeah,
and with an extended magazine. So extended magazine, that's something that usually means that you are going to war with somebody, right? Several packages of suspected crack cocaine, marijuana, and items related to the burglary. Robinson was charged with burglary, theft, criminal mischief, possession of controlled dangerous substance, and several weapons offenses. This is not good at all. Just that right there. Just this right here. Several weapons offenses, dude. Like several weapons offenses. That doesn't sound too good. Sicko, from your knowledge of like anything, what is your reaction to like a fighter?
Sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good time to me. Sounds like a good Friday night. No, I mean, that's crazy. Carl Robertson is what Sean Strickland pretends to be. He seems like he's a crazy motherfucker, got some demons. I don't know what the hell that man got going on, man. Those charges are serious. The marijuana depends on how much, like, what are we looking at, right? Because it's either nothing or, okay, you're distributing some shit. But I saw, if you go up a little bit further, I saw something that said $200,000 of jewelry right there.
Okay, there you go. It says $200,000 worth of exotic jewelry and other items were allegedly stolen.
Okay, so they didn't catch him with that stuff. They didn't catch him with that stuff then, the jewelry itself. It seems like the car was what kind of fucking got him, which, hey, get rid of the car, bro. Why are you driving around the same car that you used to rob some shit? You're a rookie. Step your game up. Why would you still, like, is it just your daily use? Like, yeah, we're gonna use this to go rob people? Like, what are you doing?
That's where I start to jump in. I'm gonna put on my defense attorney fucking sports coat right here. And one, I don't know Carl Robertson's personal life. I don't even know if he has a car. I know some fighters struggling and they borrow people's cars and borrow people's bikes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Are we 100% sure that this is Carl's car? Like, did he borrow this from somebody else? Did somebody borrow his car maybe the night before or whatever? Like, where's the plausible deniability in this? Because the loot wasn't in the car, just like you're saying, right? That what the good take wasn't there, but the weapon or a weapon or so, plus all the drugs, like
cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, if Carl's rolling around slaying that shit, doing his thing, then yeah, he's got caught up. But like you said, it seems kind of off knowing that what you got and then to roll around in a car that is hot, like, but the loot wasn't there. Like, that's the part that makes me think that there could be a second player involved in the story and we don't know. Obviously, did the arrest in there say anybody else was arrested with him, or was he arrested all by himself?
He was arrested by himself.
Okay, so just the fact that the jewels and stuff wasn't there, but the car that's allegedly part of that crime and like all this other mixed stuff, it just makes me think that there's somebody else, that Carl wasn't by himself.
Oh, what says related items related to the burglary? So maybe there was some of the take in there.
Well, the thing is, one thing that's a positive note to the charges is that it says burglary rather than robbery. Because if it was robbery, he's doing time. Like, that's guaranteed. Like, you you went in there and you forced someone to give you $200,000 worth of jewelry. There's a difference, right? If it was
Right.
burglary, that means no one was there. You know what I mean?
Around, you know?
Maybe you could, if you don't have a priors, you know what I mean, you could get a good lawyer. They could maybe get you, you know, a little bit of time and maybe even get you probation at the worst, right? Or at the best.
What the other part of this part that makes no sense to me, and that's just because I don't know shit about this, but why weed and what was it? Something like amphetamines or like
Crack cocaine.
Crack cocaine.
Well, you know, you put those two together, what you get?
I don't know. So there's the point that to me, I've never seen those two groups of. I've seen crackheads and I've seen stoners. I've never seen them hanging out together. So that is another mystery. I don't know how criminal life works like that, but that's all of this is so strange. So strange. Yeah. If all I'm gonna say is if Kara is not, you know, guilty, which that's how the law works. He's not guilty of all these crimes, maybe some of them. I just hope the right amount of justice for what he actually did is served, if he did anything at all. So
I want to know if he's caught a body.
The thing is,
I mean, what you need that handgun with the extended mag and it scratched off for? Like, is there a body under Carl Robertson's name we don't know about?
That's another red flag as well. 2 red flags. Of course, you have weapons charges, right? Which is never a good thing. That could be prison time for you. Another thing is that, you know, a defaced 9mm handgun, which means the serial numbers on the gun were most likely filed off, so you can't trace it. Only way to trace it would be the what do you call it? The bullet, like
ballistic analysis,
right?
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to take the gun. They're going to do ballistic analysis and any other crimes or drive-bys.
Exactly, and it's going to be attributed to them.
Yeah,
if this gun was used in any kind of crime, it was shot anybody, like you said, Sicko. If it killed anybody, like he could be pinned with these murders.
Or if there's a rash of robberies, like you said, this wasn't a robbery, it's a burglary.
If he used the gun, you can't just like, if he used the gun during the robberies or during the burglaries, yes, like you could connect him to it. But usually, like with defaced handguns, you know, I mean, the problem with that is like you don't know where those handguns came from, and let's say he bought that off of somebody in the street, and that was like handed down from like person to person to person to person. You don't know what the history of the handgun is. You could be pinned with whatever crimes that handgun was used during, right? Which could be murders or whatnot. And people are thinking like, how do you know so much? You could watch any show, any like crime show, and they kind of give you understanding of like what can happen with guns and stuff. And
watch court TV for an afternoon.
Yeah, exactly, right. And yeah, it's not a good thing, man. It's not a good thing for Carl Robertson. And he was, you know what I mean? It's like he was involved in some shit, man. Like this is something to keep an eye on, you know what I mean? Hopefully, you know what I mean, he could get out of this unscathed, but you know, you don't just it's like, how stupid are you? Yeah. You're driving around in a car that's connected to a burglary with things that are connected to the burglary used during the burglary. Like it's almost like it's so stupid, like you must be on drugs.
That's true. It's so stupid you must be on drugs, or
like it wasn't planned.
Yeah, or it was, you know, maybe
or was it planted on him?
Or that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's somebody's scapegoat. That's what I'm saying.
Or did they plan it on him?
Dun, dun, dun.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, like tricky. We get deeper, you know, we got to go conspiracy theory.
The quickest way to solve it would be just like make him pee on the spot and do a test. If he comes up with no crack cocaine in his system right on the spot. All right, I'm starting to listen to
drugs. That's the drugs. But like, let's say, what about the guns and all that
stealing
stuff?
Shit.
You know what I mean?
I think he good on the drug charges, to be honest.
Yeah, the
like
drug
I mean, again, depending on how much it is, depending on
the cracking out your
amount.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be too much, right? Because maybe just for some personal use, right?
If it's personal use, he's good.
Yeah,
it's
like
the gun charges and then the car, obviously.
I guarantee you, if it was a hefty amount of like marijuana and crack cocaine, then they would set it right in the report. Most likely,
several weapons offenses. What else, right? It's not just.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what other weapons are there? Like, besides the 9mm handgun, like this. That's serious, man.
Well,
like,
I don't know that
charges are serious, especially nowadays with like all these shootings happening, you don't know how the courts are handling like weapons charges for people. So
like different states have different modification rules. Like that extended clip in itself might not be permitted in that state or county. It
hey,
could have
silencers are like some states, I think, or federally, silencers are like 15 years minimum.
Yeah, silencers, or even sometimes laser guided.
Yeah, lasers, like
lasers in some states, it makes it a whole extra crime. Like
bulletproof vests, like you get caught with those, you get like prison time for that as well. You know what I mean?
That would suck though, man. That would suck if it wasn't his car. Like,
yeah. What if
or if it
wasn't
was his car and somebody borrowed it and then robbed somebody with it? Like, if he was just like, bro, I had no, if he literally was like, I had no idea what was going on with the car.
That's what I'm saying.
What if it wasn't his car and like he needed the car to go to training, right? Or just for that day because his car was in the shop and his homeboy was like, yo, you know, you could borrow my car. And then his homeboy called the police and said, yo, like there's a dude
going deep now.
Yeah, like dude is like rolling around in the car and shit. Like I know he's like something connected, right? I'm just saying it's not, you know what I mean? When you got haters, right?
There's
like,
confidential informants that do that shit. That is a real thing.
I mean, maybe. I think he probably, because like you said, it was a burglary, not armed robbery. He probably snuck in somewhere, hit a lick.
But we don't even know if he actually did that.
All I'm saying is test him for crack.
Because of the charge. The charge was burglary, and because of the car when he was driving it, he still had the shit in there. Like, to me, it seems like I got away with this scot-free. I'm good to drive this car. Nobody saw me. Nobody was even there. I just hit a lick. I'm good. And maybe there was a camera. Something happened where they were able to find out what car it was, and he didn't even know the car was hot, and he just doesn't even know what's going on.
But if all of this is true, right? And the possibilities of like the time that he can serve, we might never see him fight again.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That could be a possibility, man. Like it would suck that if he was set up as well by somebody, that would completely suck. That he's just gonna do some time for somebody else, and but you don't know what's going on in these fighters' lives, man. At the same time, like you don't know where they come from. A lot of these fighters, they don't come from the best upbringings, right? They're fighters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that old story of like boxers. You know what I mean? The best boxers come from the worst places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the UFC is not any different, man. A lot of the best fighters come from places where they don't want to go back, right? They don't want to leave. Like think of a lot of the Brazilians, man, where they come from, dude. Like some heavy, like the Brazilians I know, they talk about where they grew up. I'm just like, damn, that's like 10 times worse than anywhere in the States. Like the favelas and shit like that.
I ever see that the video that Pereira posted, Peloton? It was on his YouTube channel where he shows like the house that he grew up in and the neighborhood that he grew up in and stuff. I was like, damn. And he was talking about it like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. I'm just like, oh man, the house is just tiny little thing, man. Just a weird, but you're just like, damn, really had to live through that. But Carl, if you're listening, snitch on them, Carl. Get out of there.
Yeah, man. I hope the best for Carl. For me, it's real simple, man. If he tests positive for crack cocaine, then he's doing all that shit. And if he's clean of the crack cocaine, then I'm willing to listen to what his side of the story is. You know, it's possible.
Who's not testing positive for a little crack cocaine? Am I right?
Yeah, that's not an accidental shit.
How are you smoking crack and training? Like to me, it's like, damn.
How could you not?
Dude, I mean,
it's 5 rounds. It's a 5-round Tuesday. I need all the help I can get.
If there could have been that NASA scientist guy that was running NASA for like almost a dozen years, was all cracked out. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of functioning addicts out there.
I mean, guys, we could probably guess correctly about 10 current UFC fighters who we think might be on some cocaine right now.
Crack cocaine. Yeah. What the hell?
They would. There's a lot.
I never thought we'd talk about crack cocaine in 2023. Like, that's such a 90s drug. Like, how is it still around?
It's still around, man. It's still prevalent and